Hey Braghi, what's up? This is my two Norse mythology stories that I had to remember. Off this first one, we're gonna do the theft of Mjolnir. Okay, so here we go. One day, Thor woke up and he had a really weird feeling that God, he just couldn't shake it, and he got up and he noticed that Mjolnir was gone, and immediately he goes and blames Loki. Him and Loki talk, and they finally figure out that they think that Thrym took Mjolnir. So Loki takes the Falcon of Freya, flies all the way down, finds out that Thrym really did have Mjolnir, and Loki tells him to give it back, but Mjolnir says, no, the only way that I'm giving you back, Thrym said, the only way that I'm giving you back Mjolnir is if I take Freya as a wife. Well, Loki takes that information back to the gods, and they figure out that Freya can't marry Thrym. So the Watchman of Asgard actually he says, Thor, what if you dress up as Freya with Loki by your side to help you out, not blow your disguise, and you go to the wedding, and as soon as he offers to give you Mjolnir for his valuables, you just take it. Thor at first disagreed, but rather came to his senses and realized that's the only way he's getting Mjolnir back. So they go and they're at dinner, and Freya happens to eat an ox, 6 fish, an entire cake, and multiple barrels of beer. Thrym doesn't really think much of it because Loki's there telling him, oh yeah, no, she's fine, she just fasted, like she's fine, she fasted for this feast for you. And finally they get to the ceremony. And when they get to the ceremony, Thrym finally brings out Mjolnir, and when Thor sees it, Thor gets pissed, and he finally grabs Mjolnir, smashes Thrym's palace, killing Thrym instantly. And at the bottom of the story, it said, the moral of the story is always to check beyond the wedding veil before you get married. For my next story, I thought this one was pretty clever as well. Was Freya and the necklace of the Brisings, and here I have what I thought was kind of a funny prop, but so Freya is the god of love, and she's sought out by all males, including the mason that actually tried to that built the wall in disguise for Asgard in previous assignments that we learned. But she has all these prized possessions. Her chariot is drawn by cats, and she has a cloak made of falcon feathers that whoever is wearing it actually has the ability to fly. And in this case, she also has this beautiful necklace, but nobody really knows how she got the necklace. But the real reason she has a necklace is one day she goes and she leaves Asgard, and she's walking, and she finally comes up to this cave and enters this cavern. When she gets to this cavern, she sees 4 dwarfs in there, and in the furnace she sees them making a beautiful necklace, and thus bring her wanting this necklace because it's the most beautiful necklace she's ever seen in her life. She offers the dwarves gold and silver, but they deny, and she's like, well, but I want the necklace. And they said, well, instead of paying us in gold, why don't you just pay us you have to spend one night with each of the 4 dwarfs. So finally she agrees, she's thinking, yeah, because I really want this necklace. So she basically sold herself into prostitution, but every male wanted her because she's the most beautiful goddess of them all. And so, but what she doesn't realize is that Loki, of course, is following her. He happens to follow her all the way into the cavern, and in this little crack, he's watching this whole thing go on. So after she agrees, he beats Freya back to Asgard and tells Odin before she does. Odin finds out and is pissed that she, sold her body basically for a necklace. And so he gets really mad, and Loki tells him, and finally Freya comes up to Odin, and Odin tells her, hey, that's not cool. Basically, like, you're in some big trouble because, you sold your body for a necklace. But he says, the one way that you can get out of this is if you wage war in Midgard of men. He's basically, if you pull all the men against themselves, then that would equal your punishment for selling your body. And Freya, she has ties with war, because she every time that there's a war, she collects all the chosen of the slain, and she collects half, and she gives the other half to Odin. And so they just kind of do this every time there's a war. And but of course Loki had to take the necklace back. And so before the punishment, Odin tells Loki, hey, you're the one that followed her, you got to get the necklace back. So then Loki, he turns into a fly and goes through a crack in the roof, and he sees her, and she's laying down, but she's laying down on her back, and the clamp of the necklace is actually back behind her head. So then him being able to shapeshift and everything turns into a flea and bites her cheek. So then she turns, and he's able to turn into a human, grab the necklace, and leave. And then that's how Odin collects it. And then after that is when Odin then pulls his punishment of her having to wage war in Midgard and make all the men fight each other. But this learning about this Norse stuff was pretty cool, and I don't know, it was really good reading. But thank you, Braghi, and thanks for everything you're doing with this whole COVID thing. I really appreciate it. So hope you're doing well. Have a good one.